Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome to this video. And in this video, I have two cases that have to be addressed depend on its epistemological principle, the nature of qualitative research, and types of qualitative research design. Let's check this out. The first case, the paper is about the pre-supervised EFL teachers' experiences in teaching practicum in rural schools in Indonesia. So a brief review about this case. Some pre-supervised teachers were observed. They have some difficulties when doing teaching practice in rural schools, and it is also their first. It was also their first experience doing the teaching. And the second case, Indonesian EFL students' difficulties in recognizing English letters. So in this paper, some students in University of Jambi were observed. Researchers found that many students difficult to pronounce some letters in English, especially in silent letters. Okay, the first half that have to be addressed is about its epistemological principle. The epistemology has two approaches. The first is ethic approach and the second is emic approach. I'll give a brief explanation about ethic approach first. The ethic, it belongs to positivism. It's quantitative. It means the researcher at the outside of the research. So, for example, if I am a researcher, I want to keep the purity of my research. I don't want make some interference about of my research. So I, of course, definitely make some distance with my research. And for emic approach, the researcher is inside of the research. It means like I want to obtain a deep understanding about my research. So I have to immerse myself right in this research on my research. And then back again, I want to address the epistemological principle. And this table are in the left one. This is the principle. First, behavior data are socially situated, context related, context dependent, and context rich. So in the first case, what I meant by socially situated, the paper first gave background knowledge about teaching practice, teaching English in rural schools, and pre-supervised teachers. Then the researcher relate it with the data collected, so all can be context related. But again, it's context related. So in the case two, the observation and interview that conducted are socially situated by the researcher, because students can be differ one another in terms of behavior. So the researcher truly know how about the situation. So that's why they conduct observation and interview with socially related. And the second, all factors have to take into account in understanding the phenomenon. But again, it use emic approach. The researcher immerse themselves into the case or into the research. So in case one, the findings of research revealed that between teachers, students, and the environment are related one another. In the difficulties found in a pre-supervised teacher, so that the paper cut into deeper understanding. Same case one and case two, the this is what I wrote here about the understanding of the researcher. So I put here. And next to the third, the situation recorded verbally rather than numerically. Of course, the case one and case two have the same conducting observation and also interview, but especially in the interview, the participant using their, of course, their information and report it verbally. And the next is the nature of qualitative research. Nature of qualitative research, it is divided into two: the conceptual, the contents of epistemology and ontology, and also the rest are methodology. I use this table to guide me identify both cases. Okay, right? The first conceptual qualitative research nature, it concerned with understanding human behavior from the informant's perspective. So, back again, it's understanding human behavior. The case one, the study purpose is to look into account and publicize difficulties experienced by pre-supervised EFL teachers that doing teaching practice in the rural area. Okay, they look into the behavior of course, the pre-supervised teachers, and are also the students' behavior that can affect what are the difficulties or obstacles that the pre-supervised EFL teachers experienced. And the second case, the study trying to understand why English students in Indonesia feels difficult to pronounce the silent letters in English. The study then later was done by observing three class students and conduct the interview. So this done to have uh, the understanding of human behavior from the informant's perspective. And then the conceptual next, it based on the ontological that assume a dynamic and negotiated reality. In the case one, there are so many obstacles faced by the pre-supervised teachers. So it is there is no absolute reality, right, in qualitative, or it's this is interpretive paradigm. And then in the second case, because the study wants to see the obstacles the experienced by the English students in pronouncing silent words, the result reveals that there are more than one factors that cause the students difficulties. So, yeah, there are factors. There are so many difficulties, obstacles. So it means that there is no absolute reality here. And the next methodological data are collected through participant observation and interviews. Both cases using observation and interview. And then the next data are analyzed by themes from descriptions by informants. Okay, in case one, findings reveals that the obstacles appears to be in some categories or themes. You can also check the paper that there are so many themes. This is I read here also, like the classroom management, teaching materials, teaching aids, teaching methods, and more. And the second case, the researchers informed the themes in the abstract that categorized by four dimension. The first, like the motivation, attitude, first language pronunciation inference, and phonetic ability. And next to be addressed, data about the methodological data are reported in the language of the informant. So of course, they can know the knowledge. They can get the data through the participant as the informant. So it reports based on their language. And the third to be addressed is the type of qualitative research design in both cases. In case one, I found out that this is phenomenology, and the case two, it is case study. Why I said so, case one, phenomenology, this is because phenomenology observes human experience of a particular phenomenon, right? And in the paper, from the purpose, I can see that this is looking into account about the obstacles experienced by the pre-certified teachers when they join teaching practice. And second, it is life experienced. Yeah, it is life experienced when they join teaching practice, right? This is really happened. And the next, phenomenology can be interviews, focus group, discussion, in-depth interviews. And in this paper, it uses interviews and observations that becoming the main methods of the data collection. You can find it in the abstract. And the next, it has a thick discussion of the result. If you go further in to the findings in page 323 and 339, there are a bunch of explanation about the results and the discussion. And the next, why I say that the second paper it is a case study. The first, it has an in-depth study of a person, group, organization, situation. Because it explores Indonesian undergraduate students. So this is university, right? So university students included into organization. Maybe it's also a group. And the next, used to narrow a very brief field of research. All right. So I have read in the paper that it was first conducted by the observation. It observed three classes with so many students, and then the researcher filters from the observation. They conduct like scoring in students' pronunciation ability, and they found four students that are still lower, still have lower scores in the pronunciation. And the next concern with a rich and vivid description of events relevant to the case. Yes, It has vivid and rich description, of course. It has several themes that I mentioned before. It is the first dimension, and then the next case study can be semi-structured, open interviews, observation, narrative accounts, and documents, and more. And in this paper, it used a semi-structured interview. Okay, that's all for me. I apologize for all my mistakes if they're inappropriate words when I presenting my presentation. Thank you very much to watch my presentation. I hope you obtain something from my presentation. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
La espada que guarda el caudal